Hello guys, welcome to White Family Farm. Today I am here just to talk about dill and dill weed. And this is kind of going to be a mixture of a how-to and really what people don't exactly tell you when you're harvesting dill. And I have purchased this Excalibur food dehydrator. But I've heard many things about dill and how to actually save it. There was different methods where you put it in tin foil and you freeze it. There was things where you have to de-stem it and put it in the dehydrator, and then there was one where you have to put it in the dehydrator on the stem. So what I'm actually going to do is put it in the dehydrator on the stem. With the Excalibur, there are two different methods to drying your herbs. The first method is to make sure that it's completely dry. Wash it, make sure it's completely dry. Or you can put it in where it's a little bit wet, but your actual dill will come out brown. This is dried to my best ability. I don't really have all day to sit here and wait on this dill. I have harvested a whole bunch. I worked so hard today getting this already. Most of all my dill was starting to bloom, and that's another thing I didn't know that no one has told me, and I even tried to research it online if you could still eat it if it bloomed, and yes, you can still eat it if it bloomed. It changes the flavor, but it's still good, and you can actually use the seeds in vinegars and all different kinds of stuff, and I didn't know that either. So that I thought was really cool to know that once it blooms, you can actually still use the dill. So I'm going to flip the camera around. I'm going to show you how I'm doing this with the Excalibur. We purchased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trays, and each one of these trays I put a little bit of dill, and I'm doing that on every tray. Actually, this is probably a better example. Each one of these trays had like one of these plastic things, so I thought this was a good idea to just put it on here with the stem. So somebody said on one of the YouTube channels, you don't want your dill to get lost or fall through the little holes because it is really, really small. You can see here, the dill is super small and it could possibly fall through. So I'm leaving it on the stems and dehydrating it on the stems, which I think is probably one of the best methods. So we're gonna go ahead and push it in there. And I'm probably gonna end up using all 9 trays. I have way more dill than this. So I'm just going to lay this out. Now the temperature, what it calls for is when you're dehydrating herbs, you don't want to go over 100 degrees. However, in the Excalibur book, it said no more than 105 degrees. So I'm actually going to set this at 100 degrees for about an hour. Temperature variance to give it about an hour for it to kind of like heat up and stuff. And so you want to use like 5 more degrees. So that's what I'm going to do, is just set it at 100 degrees and then in about an hour drop it down to 95 degrees. And when you pull it out, you can test it too, just to make sure that it is dehydrated. So you can test it out as well. So that's all I'm going to put on these trays. I got so much dill and I didn't really know what exactly to do with it just yet, because I don't have cucumbers yet. So I think this is going to be the best process for me, is just to go ahead and dehydrate it, and then when I get my pickles, I can use this as I see fit. Okay, y'all. So what I did is I got interrupted and I got a phone call. But what I did is I put all my dill in this Excalibur here, and you can see that. And then what I did then is I put it a little bit in each tray. Now I set a timer because with the Excalibur, to get it up to temperature, they said to put it 5 degrees higher than the temperature, the average temperature, which should be 95 degrees, shouldn't go over 100 for herbs. So I set it at 100 degrees, and I'm waiting for my alarm to go off, so I'm gonna turn it back down to 95 after an hour. And then I'm letting this dehydrate for 4 hours. Okay guys, the humidity in my house is really high, and that's why I think the dehydrator really wasn't working to its best capacity. I actually put it in this morning. I put it in last night for another 4 hours, and then it still wasn't done. So I did it for another 4 hours. And then this next step is just all you. Like if you want to put it in a mason jar or whatever, it's good to up to a year. Dried like that and put in a jar. I just wanted to make sure everything was 100% dry, because if you have any slightest bit moisture or anything in your jars, it's going to mold or mildew in there, and then you can't use it at all. Okay, so for the dill process, I actually took from a variety of different types of recipes and stuff online, so you can pull whatever you want from it. But what I did specifically is I dried it, I put it in a food processor, and I blended it up. Now, let me show you the results. In order to get a bunch of dill, you would have to really plant a lot. So this right here is my result. And I filled up all 9 trays of my food dehydrator. So good luck. So that is all the info I have on dill. I hope this video helps you out. Make sure to like and subscribe to our videos, and we'll see you next video.